Hello, and welcome back to Restore Planet Podcast with me, your host, Jack Cole. So today for podcast number 50, I've got a great guest joining us from Indonesia, Reyni Tresia. So welcome, Reyni. She's going to tell us a little bit about her background and her work working with black macaques. And yeah, Reyni, so as I say, welcome, and please give us a little bit of your background, how you got it to where you are today, and yeah, we'll go from there.
All right. Thank you very much, Jack. Good evening from Indonesia and good noon over there in the UK. My name is Reyni, and I'm from North Sulawesi. I'm Minahasan people. I am the projects coordinator for Selamatkan Yaki. It's a conservation project in North Sulawesi. So Selamatkan Yaki is the Indonesian word means save the macaque. And yeah, I joined actually this month has marked the 10 years of my work with the project. So and also the 50th episode I heard, so it feels special now even more. And I first joined the project in 2013 as the program secretary, because my background was actually administration and secretarial duties. But then I've been always a nature lover since little, obviously, because I live here in North Sulawesi. It's an amazing place. It's, surrounded by beautiful beaches and forests. So it's amazing. It's almost impossible not to love the nature. But yeah, not until 2013 though, then I joined a voluntary program where I first heard about the yaki. So it was quite an amazing experience to start my conservation work. I found out that it is endemic species and then it's critically endangered. I was like with shock and oh my god, so what can I do? And I first just help a bit, like voluntary, casually help the projects, and then time flows a bit, and through mutual friends, I think I've meeting people with the same passion in nature, sort of like lead you to the right path, right? So here I am now. Like it's amazing to start from an administrative position to now into the leadership position. Of course, it's after lots of learning progress through our diverse projects, and going into the field, not only at the back of the table, but it's been amazing experience.
Brilliant. So give us a little bit of an overview of the Sulawesi itself in terms of habitat, climate, for those who are unfamiliar with the area, and what they might find there. And of course, the black macaque within that context.
Right. I hope my overview can boost your enthusiastic to probably put Sulawesi into your next place to visit. It's a very beautiful area. So Sulawesi is the largest island in the Wallacea area. It's in Indonesia, one of the biggest 5 islands, because Indonesia has thousands of islands, and we are the one that looks a little bit like K. And the climate here we are in the tropic, of course, way hotter than the UK. I've been there twice, so I know how it feels. I think we have a different meaning of what cold is. We thought cold here is just a bit windy, but it is very chill here. They said we only have rain or rain a lot. So, but also very sunny, like blue sky. The habitat here, the island itself, it has tropical rainforest. We have also mangrove forest and coral reefs. So it's very special. Through some research says that the Wallacea area is the meeting point of the species in Asia and Australia. That's why it's very unique. So apparently research also shows that estimated around 25% bird species are endemic and can only be found in the forest in Sulawesi. That's why the bird watching here are also like crazy, and also the diving. So this is one of the best diving spots around the world. And also the around 62%, you need to check this probably, but the mammal species are very unique to the island. So we have lots of amazing species and plants, of course, here. And well, but of course, as the same with other places in the world that is rich with biodiversity, it's also facing lots of threats like deforestation and also climate change and wildlife trade, sort of thing like that. But it's very unique and special, so you have to come and visit here.
Absolutely. And tell us more about the ecology of the black macaque.
Right. So the black macaque, so like I mentioned before, so Sulawesi is one of the biggest 5 islands in Indonesia, but we are in the northern part. So if you see, we are and at the top, so we almost closer to the Philippines. And the Sulawesi crested black macaque, it's locally known as the yaki. You know, in English, it doesn't really sound really great, like, oh, yaki or something like that. But so that's the local name of the macaque. So their native region is only in the small forest fragments in North Sulawesi. And which is now very small, obviously, because of the growth of population and others. So yeah, and the characteristic is, as you can see in my background, this is both cute. There are 7 species of macaque actually in the island of Sulawesi, but this one can be recognized by their black hair, of black body fur, and also the very cute heart-shaped bottom, and then that mohawk hairstyle. This is very charismatic. Their face is very charismatic and handsome. And somehow people ask me like, how big are they? Because sometimes people can think they're as big as the gorilla, but they're actually not. It's quite small. It's like around, I think the males can grow as big as 1.7 feet, and the female is a bit smaller than that. They are mainly frugivorous, so they're fruit eaters, which with fruit, apparently they eat around more than 149 species of plants. So that's amazing. Like, they really help the forest growth here, and they also they have cheek pouches, and whenever they eat, they store the food here. Like just like human, right? I mean, like primates, we store our food and then just bring in. We're just too greedy to eat something and then bring along whenever we go. So there's the yaki also, but it really helps the forest to grow, because imagine they bring the food, they store it, and then they will eat it later, and it's disperse the seeds wherever they go in between their home range. So that's very interesting. And they also live in a very social group, large group between like almost 100 in one group, and they have also hierarchy in the group. So they have one alpha male that the police of the group, like the mayor. Is pretty similar, the social life. They love grooming. It is very entertaining whenever you go to see them in the wild. It's just lots of actions. Like 5 hours will fly by if you're very lucky to see them in the forest. It's just like following them, foraging around the forest, and yeah. So being said that they only live in this small fragmented forest in North Sulawesi, they are endemic. And also facing lots of threats like forest loss, like habitat loss, and also illegal wildlife trade. Sometimes also being hunted for consumption and being kept as pet. So they are critically endangered by the IUCN status. And for that, they are also protected by the Indonesian law.
You know the population numbers, roughly?
I'm sorry?
Do you know the population numbers, more or less? How many there are?
Yeah, so that's, I think, for all the species around the world, it's quite hard to say like precisely. But we always, of course, as research-based conservation program, we always use journal that already published. They said that it's less than 5,000, so it's around 5,000 in the whole North Sulawesi, and then there are around 2,000 in one forest called Tangkoko, which is like been called like their last safeguard or the last home of the Yaqui, sort of.
Right, okay. And so yeah, tell us, well, in light of that, the work that you're involved with, the work that Salamak and Yaki is doing, and yeah, your areas of focus, projects, yeah.
All right, so Salamak and Yaqui has been here for around 10 years. Well, actually, it was established in 2007 as a rapid response to the previous survey done before. So this project was founded by Wild Planet Trust in the UK, actually, and in collaboration with Pacific Institute and a local university of Unsrat here in Manado back then to mitigate the threats facing by the species. And over the years, we started our program like on the ground in 2011. And our focus is actually through conservation, research, and education. Of course, with collaboration with national, international stakeholder. Because as an NGO, we brings innovative solutions and specialized expertise and flexibility in implementing our community-based project. On the other hand, of course, the local government as the legal institute in, taking care of the monkeys and the habitat, they provide essential resources and also regular, support in regulations. So since 2011, we actually have 3 projects, like big main projects, education and awareness raising, and which is more in outreach and delivering messages about how the yak is actually endemic here. And actually until today, still I found people that still shocked about it, like, oh, what, really? I thought they're everywhere, So it's like showing that it's really important, Of course, like we are supporting the government to do that, to do as much outreach in the market, in schools, in media, and also we supporting we use different strategies to develop like based on the understanding of behavior changes, of course, and promoting social social marketing, and also intrinsic values and relation values and positive frames of the nature protections. And then we also have the protected area management. So the holistic approach is also to improve the protection of the reserve and its surrounding by empowering local communities to protect the surrounding forest and act as role models. So they can also, take part and provide a voice and direct participation in the management. Like, before there was a distance between the local communities with the management of the forest, because it's been always about the rules, like you cannot do this, you cannot cut the trees, you cannot hunt, you cannot blah, blah, blah. But yeah, maybe it was a different approach. That's why we came to reach that, and then took a different approach by saying that this is the nature is very important, and then also it brings you values and everything. So they are now, they can easily join the patrols in the forest, or whenever there's a forest fire, they will go there with their own initiative, being without us, like call them. So it's amazing to after these 10 years to see that the changes. Before I was also joined the first part of going to the communities where they were so against this, like who are you, like telling about the forest behind our back, like behind our yard. So yeah, it's amazing. But now they even join the same meeting as us, like stakeholders. It's amazing to see, and then they're proud to tell about the nature around their houses. And also, yeah, we try some sustainable livelihood approaches, some pilot projects, which is, of course, yeah, quite a difficult one, like a challenging one. But then, to try to give alternatives to people, for example, to reduce their dependability to the forest. It's like, normally they would farm right inside the forest area, and to open new lands, or hunting and sell the species. So us as NGO, and we need to collaborate with more stakeholders, is we need to give solution for the people around the forest, to get alternative or another sustainable income, right? So that's another area that we also still want to expand. And not also to mention that we have our new recent ones and exciting projects mitigating the human wildlife interface, because at the moment the macaque, where there's one area where the macaque lives, it's almost no buffer zone between the forest and the village. And then the monkey most of the time, well, most recently cross the like a small stream and then start like picking fruits from other people's house or shaking their houses. So yeah, there are lots of efforts. So we also join efforts with our partners, another local NGOs, to activate monkey guards, and like they need to shush the monkey somehow when they approach the village, and it's been interesting. But yeah, it's and
Sorry, what
also
was
like
that? Sorry, Reyni, what was it? Monkey darts?
yeah, so the
What are
monkey guard.
those?
So we activate, like we initiate the local people to stand in the border, like patrol.
Oh, sorry, guards, like protecting.
Like
Oh,
protecting.
oh, okay, fantastic. Right, I see. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So this is like another way to mitigate the interaction between the macaque and also the people that might lead to negative conflicts, like negative interactions. And other than that, we also build capacity for the local guides in the park, the nature park, by capacity, this series of capacity buildings. So with the goals to apply ecotourism principle in the area, to say that keep the distance with the macaques or the other animal, because, or even tell them that this is critically endangered species that you are at the moment looking at, something like that. So yeah, and another project also we have is the biodiversity monitoring unit. It's camera trap survey and across the region, and we hope that this data will serve as a baseline of the status of the population, not precisely to count them, but at least to know where are the macaques. So it can also help us to to strengthen our conservation initiative, or our decision whether to do what activities around the areas. So that's more or less.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
you can actually read more about our work here, like in selamakaniyaki.ngo. I mean, you can see we've been it's amazing. Like these 10 years, we've been doing so many activities. Of course, supporting and collaborating with other stakeholders, which is important because we are only 8 people. Well, 7 here now, and yeah, it's impossible to work alone in conservation, right? You need to collaborate with people so you can use the most resources, like not duplicating other efforts, and yeah, just being effective.
Of course. And speaking a little bit more personally, tell me about some of the personal experiences or interactions that you've personally had out in the Sulawesi or with black macaques.
All right, that's an interesting one also, like to start with my career in conservation, because few years ago, before I joined the project, my cousin actually happened to pet a pair of macaque in her house, which is yeah, like 2 houses after my house. And then she was not home all the time back then. And then yeah, my dad sort of rescue one of the pair because the other one was already died. So it was quite heartbreaking to see. So we end up had that macaque in our house. And yeah, at that time I didn't know about this protection or their wildlife. So we also didn't know what to do about that. So we just, sort of taking care of that. And that's amazing because the macaque felt a bit like a family, like you have your dog in the house, right? And at the same time, I had exposure with Selamat Kaniaki, and finally managed to arrange the rehabilitation process. Like some partners with the rehabilitation rescue center came and pick up the macaque. It was quite a losing attachment, like sort of like happy that he finally went for her rehabilitation, but then it was like, like because you got already some connection with that macaque. So that's also like understand me a lot with, when I try to educate people that you should not keep the macaque, and also try to yeah, I know how it's hard some people to let go the macaque, right? So I mean, with conservation, we always come from a different perspective. I mean, like different approach. Not to say that they are protected, so you need to give it up. But it's more like you need to understand the value and a different empathy to the macaque. So that's my first encounter of the macaque, actually. But then after I joined the program, and then I was invited to go to the forest to see them in the wild. And it was just mind blowing because when I first saw the tour package, they said that 5 hours with the monkey. I'm like, why? So like, why you need 5 hours? But then as soon as the moment when you start entering the forest, trying to find them, and you might not find them because it's in the forest and there's like 50-50 chance, and then you arrive into the group, and then there's suddenly a lot of them in one group, like big group, and you start seeing the interaction, surrounded by the monkeys. It was amazing. I mean, that was something that I never experienced as a local, and I was not aware that many tourists come to North Sulawesi to have that experience. So it was amazing, like to be surrounded. I was not even scared a little bit. I mean, like I enjoyed that moment. And I mean, lots of interesting stuff also because I end up spend a lot of time in the forest, even for camping, like camping, and then suddenly the macaque already under your hammock trying to steal something from you. I was like, I thought it was my friend actually like poking me, but then I was quite scared. Like, shit, I mean, like that's that. Oh, oh no, I need to edit
No,
that.
no, it's just your passion coming through. No problem at all. So
No,
bring that in there,
yeah.
your sort of passion and clear love for the black macaque and the Sulawesi, along with the work that Selamat Kanyaki are involved with. How can you see things moving forward and trends 5 to 10 years? What can you see happening and what would you like to see for the black macaque in the Sulawesi?
Okay. Yeah, I've seen like 10 years, I can be very confident to say this because I've seen changes in people, right? I've seen people start to aware about the nature, not only just about the macaque, but also the whole nature protection, wildlife protection. People are getting, passionate about it and feeling proud of it. As before in like 10 years ago, I would say that not many people talking about the protection of wildlife. And then now over the social media, whenever some sensitive images or, like something that including harm of the wildlife, they already can say something and then actually say that, oh no, it's not the right thing to keep the macaque or to kill the macaque or eat the macaque because it's protected. So it's really like changing. However, I mean, if you go to the market now and then if you ask, can you see the macaque? Well, sometimes you can still find the macaque, but not as much as before. It's quite hard to say, right? I mean, is it like because people really aware, or is it because they're really going to extinct? Like, it's not really easy to get them anymore in the forest. But I see lots of hopes, and people are really now much, much aware than 10 years ago compared to 10 years ago. And so I really have a big optimism, and then I've seen changes of people, and yeah, so many people care about our nature and our cat, and I hope that it's going to slow down the process of extinction as what they're facing at the moment. Yeah.
Hope you reverse it. Well, Reyni, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, sure. It's a pleasure